Top 10 Best Books in Philippine Literature.
Aba, nakakabasa na pala ako, which can be translated as wow, I can read now. Written by an anonymous Filipino contemporary author whose pen name is Bob Ong. College days. The book rose to fame for depicting the supposed unforgettable moments of his life as a student. Felisa Batacan's Smaller and Smaller Circles is the first Filipino crime detective story set in the Philippines. The mystery novel revolves around two Jesuit priests who happen to perform forensic work. The novel explores themes that deal with the corruption and inefficiency in the government.
Maibong Mandaragit or Birds of Prey was written by Filipino writer and social activist Amado V. Hernandez. Being a novel that tackles social political issues, particularly Philippine Revolution and neocolonialism, it has a connection to Rizal's earlier novel, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. There was a passage in the novel where protagonist Mando Plaridel was tested by Tata Matias on what he knows about Rizal's controversial books, as he narrated the living conditions of Filipinos then. Readers will note how Hernandez had high hopes for significant changes that would uplift the Philippine society. Being one of the most admired writers in Philippine literature, Nick Joaquin was recognized as National Artist of the Philippines for Literature in 1976. In his historical novel entitled The Woman Who Had Two Navels, Joaquin examines the effects and influence of the past towards the post-war events in the Philippines. Lead female character Connie Escobar thinks she has two navels, and thus requests her doctor to remove one, which symbolically means that she wants to shun away from a traumatic past. She later finds out that her husband, Macho Escobar, was the lover of her mother. Hoping to escape after being betrayed, she flees only to discover more truths.
This novel, written by Miguel Sihuco, landed him a spot on 2008 Man Asian Literary Prize, being awarded a grand prize. Layered with fiction and non-fiction themes, the story begins with main character named Crispin Salvador, a noted writer whose lifeless body was discovered by authorities floating off the Hudson River in New York. Since there was no evidence of foul play, it led them to think that the author must have taken his own life. His student and friend, who has the same name as the book's author Miguel Sihuco, hopes to unravel the story behind this mystery. The Marcos era in the late 70s is a dark chapter in Philippine history. No one dares to speak against the government for fear of execution. In some cases, bodies are not even retrieved. Hence, it has been a tumultuous period, especially for the Filipino parents, to protect their kids from the oppressive regime at the same time. Stand together as one family. Luwalhati Bautista has captured true-to-life scenarios in the 70s, mentioning changes that arose after the Plaza Miranda bombing and the suspension of the right of habeas corpus in the Philippines. The novel tells the story of lead protagonist Amanda Bartolome and her family, where she had to deal with facing the law and responsibilities toward her 5 sons.
On by F. Shonil Jose. F. Shonil Jose works while being deeply influenced by Rizal. This was reflected in his books and short stories, particularly the 5-part novel series Rizal Saga, which narrated class struggles and colonialism experienced by Filipinos. Banaag at Sikat, From Early Dawn to Full Light, has been dubbed the Bible of the Filipino working class. Being among the earliest novel written by Lope K. Santos, it's considered by Filipino critic Teodoro Agoncillo as one of the most important books in Philippines literature in 1949.
Ang Florante at Laura ni Francisco Baltasar Balagtas ay isang obra maestra sa panitikang Pilipino. Kasama sa mga pangunahing tauhan sila Florante, Laura, Aladin, Florida, Haring Linceo at iba pa. Pangunahing tagpuan ng Florante at Laura ang madilim na gubat ng Quezonaria at ang nagsasalaysay ay mismong si Florante, habang naikinig naman ang Muslim na si Aladin. Batay ang pagsasalaysay ng tauhan ng kwentong si Florante mula sa sariling karanasan at kasawian ni Francisco Baltasar, sapagkat naulong ang huli dahil sa bintang ni Mariano Capule at kawalan ng atarungan. Si Maria Asuncion Rivera ay nagpakasal kay Mariano Capule o Nano Capule na isang karibal sa pag-ibig. Isinulat ni Baltasar ang Florante habang nasa piitan. No Limit ang Ere. Ang No Limit ang Ere ay akda ni Dr. Jose Rizal noong 1887 habang ang Pilipinas ay sakop ng Espanya. Ipinapakita rito kung gaano magmanipula ang mga pari noong panahon ng Espanyol. Iilan lamang sa mga tauhan sila Crisostomo Ibarra, Maria Clara, Padre Damaso, at Kapitan Tiago sa akdang ito. Ito ay ang kauna-unahang akda na ginawa ni Jose Rizal.